The toilet gods must be looking down on me today because those wing nuts have come off the bottom of that toilet absolutely fine. The overboard stuff, this is what we predominantly put down upstairs in the barn, and the key with this I find is just taking your time. Just a bit hands on. Then just actually going to each of them little notches, just knock it in.
Oh, okay, I see it.
So I'm going to pop now, turn the water back off, and get these heads off, and get the new cartridge on, because as you can see it's dripping. Everybody who attends the training gets a certificate. I don't know if you can see it because the sun's glaring in. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing really well. This week for me has been a bit of a non-starter week. Now I'll explain what I mean by that, and anyone who has their own business or is self-employed will probably relate to it. I've had a week where I've not really felt like I've done anything, but I've done quite a lot. I've had to meet the tiler because I was the only one that had access into the bathroom job. I had to meet the tiler there for him to get in to finish the tiling off in the bathroom. Had to meet Dave Bishop, my carpenter, there to let him in later on in the evening to get in there and do some bits. Had a couple of jobs cancel on me. I had a couple of other things happen during the week that didn't sort of pan out as they should be. So sort of by Wednesday, I sort of lost a bit of get up and go for the week. Not so much of myself, but work-wise. So it was a dead week, if that makes sense. It felt like I weren't earning any money, but I was, because I was getting the bathroom finished off and another job finished off. I've been to look at some other jobs. One of them took me about three and a half hours to go over with the customer and the client, with the customer, the architect, and the other trades. So he was there for a few hours, but it will lead on, hopefully, touch wood. I think it's going to work out to the job that's coming up. So again, half a day of not earning any money, but you've got to do these things. Been sorting paperwork out again. You've got to do it because it's part and parcel of the job. So this week sort of felt a little bit flat. And Thursday, as you'll see in the upcoming video in this, was brilliant. Thursday afternoon was brilliant. I spent some time with Snug Underfloor Heating team on their installer training roadshow. I filmed a little bit for you. Hope you find it interesting. It'll give you a little insight, because I know so many people need to go, and it is travelling down the country. I'd say in the video where it's going to be and when. But I know a few people sort of messaged me and wanted to know, you know, they would like to get on it, and it's a great training sort of afternoon with the Snug team learning about underfloor heating. But I'll let you see that in the video. What else have we got before I go? The Nurad Tapex kit giveaway. I'll put a link up here to the previous video telling you all about how to win it. Now, don't listen to anybody who comes on with a fake account trying to say it's me, trying to email you, trying to message you. The only person that's going to say who's won will be me on one of these videos in about a week's time. So if anyone tries to contact you, it's nothing to do with me. You'll hear from me on one of the videos. So I wanted to address that because, fair play to you, a lot of you messaged me and said there's this other road account knocking around. So that sort of sums the week up. It's been a little bit bitty, but you get them weeks sometimes. But we're ready to go. We've got a busy old schedule going into Christmas. So I won't waffle on anymore. Let's get on with the video, and I shall we're nearly at 20,000. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button on the videos. It makes a massive difference for the reach. And enough waffle from me. Let's get on with the video. So, as I'm sure a good few of you are aware, I do a lot of work with Snug Underfloor Heating. We did the barn renovation, probably, was it this time last year? Yeah, it probably was about this time last year. We finished the barn, and Snug did all the underfloor heating for that, from the drawings to supplying everything. And just even when I was there, funnily enough, I did a video during the time I was there, and there was a slight issue with part of the layout that I did on it. And someone from the team spotted it, rung me up and said, Mark, just tweak that little bit there and it'll all be well and good. It was going to the manifold. So they're always on the ball, the Snug lot, and I've worked with them at Installer Show, and they asked me, while they're doing their road show that's travelling down the country, we're in the Midlands now, we're at the Balfrey, really nice setting, they asked me to come along just to give a bit of a real world plumbing overview of the systems that they put in. It's all right them as a company telling people what it all is, but if us as installers can relate to another installer that's done it, it just gives that little bit more, credibility is the wrong word, just gives that little bit more insight into installing it. So Jen, Steve and Rob are here today. They've set up a sort of display of the different sort of systems. So they've laid out what's probably known as the eggshell sort of stuff. We've got the pipe in a little pipe core there, so people will be able to have a go laying it out in different sort of layouts, whether it's serpentine or double back or whatever they want to do there. We've got the electric mats here just to give a bit of an overview. All the different sort of stats, controls, and obviously the manifolds here, and again the clip section here where the people who are attending today are going to have a go at laying it. The overboard stuff, this is what we predominantly put down upstairs in the barn, and the key with this I find is just taking your time. I personally start with the edges, get them all in position and work everything back from there, because if you've got a room that is slightly out of square, on an architect's drawing it will always be square, it'll always be perfect, but you know as well as I, walls are never sort of level or parallel depending on how good the chippy is, whether it's a Friday or a Monday when he's put the walls up. So I always start with the end plates and work back from there, but we'll have a go at that. We'll show people how to do that. And again, the clip system. Did you do it right? Did you get it all in right, Rob?
We'll find out later.
So again, people that are attending are going to have a go at laying some pipe work into there, just sort of be a little bit hands-on really. But this is, as I said, this is the Midlands one. They've done, how many have you done up the country?
This is our fourth one now.
It's the fourth one. So you did?
We've done Preston, St Helens.
Preston, St Helens and Lincoln. And you did was it a college you did?
Yes.
And they've done a college as well, which was different, shall we say? It was, Steve was dreading doing the college because it was, what we find is, a day like today, installers, people who are on the tools, are taking a time out of their day to come to learn more about it. Whereas sometimes when you go to colleges, and I found it before speaking to various different people, when you're trying to educate a room full of people who are at college, they've not got a vested interest in it 100%, whereas people that come out to do this have. I'll try and film some bits during the day, give you a little bit of an insight on what's going on. But yeah, it's... I'm looking forward to it. It's something that doing the YouTube and the social media side has sort of opened up to me, and being involved with companies. I started working with Snug, it must be probably 18 months ago or so now, and just going from there we've built a really good rapport with each other, and I think we'll be at Installer Show next year. They're booked in at Installer Show, so yeah. But yeah, keep an eye out. Coming down the country, heading south towards London way, but I'll give you a bit of an insight on what's going on today.
Sometimes, depends if it's playing.
So the lads are just having a go now. They're having a go running in the pipe work. Just a bit hands on.
They make it, so it's different.
One that one now, yeah?
Yeah, so you're coming on the second. Yeah, that's it, mate, and then you're going all the way along.
So in terms of
Down here.
That's it. Then just as you go, each of them little notches, just knock it in.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Big 20.
Yeah, that'll do.
Bit harder next time.
Yeah, a little bit harder next time, just positive presses. Yeah.
How long does it take you?
Yeah, so
If it's an older property, we kind of make assumptions, because it's we know that it's been built to this reg, or it's been built to this reg. So if it has, then we know. If you get into the middle, then sometimes the pipe would slightly lift, because there's nothing to kind of in the middle to hold that pipe down. So then we kind of thought about it and go, right, okay. So then we've introduced little notches. So in each board there's 3 notches. So then that acts as a bit of a clip. So it just forces the pipe to stay in the board. So that then when we design this, we said, right, well let's design it so then it holds the connection pipes. So then they can keep the connection pipes nice and close to the wall. It keeps it nice and neat going along the wall. And so that then you're not then having to go back over and fix it and then fill it with levelling compound. Let us worry about kind of the design and make life easy. It's a bit cheesy, but that's kind of our mantra, it's thinking about the installer. How can we make life easy?
That was a brief little overview of Snug's installer training session that we did at the Belfry. It was brilliant. Everybody who attended took something away from it, and they've gained knowledge in the different systems, the different layouts, the manifolds, the thermostats, everything that you need to know about putting an underfloor heating system in for someone. So yeah, that was really good. It was good to catch up with a few people that watched the channel. So shout out to those that were at the training and to come on and say hello, and we had a good little chat and a catch up. And then also off the back of it, everyone who attends, I don't know if you can see it, if I turn my visor, you basically get a certificate. I don't know if you can see it because the sun's glaring in, but basically a Snug certificate of training. It basically says certificate of training. This is to certify that MJTIFF is a recognised certified installer of Snug underfloor heating products. So that's handy to have as well. And they also give you a sticker to go on the side of the van, so you know whenever your van's bobbing around your local area, people can see that you are basically a trained Snug underfloor heating installer. Now I know for a fact Snug are taking the roadshow south in the new year. I think they're going to Bristol, and I think they're going to Watford area. Don't quote me, but it'd be perfect for all the people that are down south, because I did have a few people drop me a message asking if they were going further south with the roadshow. They are, but in the new year. So I definitely advise anyone interested in it to drop on and get some training with the Snug team. Well, it's the end of the week, we're on Friday, and we've got a little job to do first of all for a customer of mine that I've done plenty of work for before. It is changing his standard pan to a pan that is 100mm higher. So they're classed as disability pans, but they're just higher pans, just for ease for older people to get on and off, or people that are struggling to get onto these ones with a little drop on them. So as standard, these are sort of 390 high. Now these higher pans are, give or take, 480 by the time we're done. So with this, it's just a case of isolating the water as always. It hasn't got an isolation valve on it, so we're going to cut one in, get this one out, and then get the new one made in. As you'll know, the actual pan waist height, 7 inches from the floor, that's going to be the same. It would just be a case of the system will sit probably a little bit higher, so we may have to alter the back slightly to get it in. But yeah, fairly straightforward job. Get this one out, get the new one in, and as you can see, well, you probably can't now because I've got the water off. That tap's dripping, so we've got some replacement cartridges to go in there. So with the water off, let's get the wet vac on this one. As I always say with the wet vacs, they're perfect for little jobs like this, because you'll flush it, but you'll always have that little bit of water stuck in the bottom of the cistern. So we'll get that out, get this pan out, and make room for the new one. The toilet gods must be looking down on me today, because those wing nuts have come off the bottom of that toilet absolutely fine. I can't see under, but the GoPro might be able to get under there. Oh, there is an isolation valve tucked up there, but it's coming out anyway. We're going to put a new one in there. So I've cut the feed off, I've got the bolts out, so in theory now that will come off. Just undo that there, we get the system off and get the pan out. So that's the cistern off, we've got the isolation valve back on now, the water's back on. We had to cut these screws out because they just perish with time, and then the same with these ones down here fixing the pan down, they just fell out. So it just goes to show that piss is a powerful old thing from time to time, isn't it? So this is loose now. We're going to get this out, obviously disconnect the pan connector off the back, get it out, get it all cleaned up, and then begin offering the higher pan and system back into position. So we've unpacked the cistern, we've tightened everything up on the bottom, tightened that nut up there, and then now we've got to make up the rods that go in the bottom. So obviously washer on first, so that the nut on the top, or the head on the top, has got something to pull down onto. Then the rubber cone washer, see what I mean? So that then that head will pull against that washer and it'll all tighten up into place. And what I like with these is then you slide that bit into the cistern, and obviously if you can get it through, do this side first, comes through there. Then it's a case of your rubber washer and then your metal washer and then your little nut to tighten it all up into position. So we'll get the rubber washer on there, just seals it in case any water's coming through, but to be fair, that big rubber cone washer pretty much does the trick. I think I prefer these ones to the ones that you have to bolt through the cistern into the toilet all in one. At least with this, you know, you can undo it from underneath and you should be alright. You can get the right setting on that. There we go. And then repeat for the other one, and that's the actual cistern bolts position. And ready to get the cistern on. So that's the cistern now bolted onto the toilet with the little lugs underneath the back, and I've offered it into position. I've had the customer sit on it because this wall is quite close. We've pushed it as far as we can to the left, and I'm going to cut the stack back here and then get a short flexi in there just to give it that little slight little kick on there, and then obviously when we slide it back into position it's going to fit a treat. So I'm going to get the owl brackets screwed in. I'm not going to go through it again, but I always, instead of using that centre line, just drill it there, and I'll fit 2 screws to stop any movement. The thickness of the bottom of the pan, where the front edge to the back edge is 1 inch on this one. So obviously you measure 1 inch back, pop your fit in there, put your owl bracket there, and get them screwed down. So we'll get them screwed in, we'll cut that stack. I'm going to shoot off, pick a flexi up for that, and then we can get that in and connect it up, and hopefully it's as straightforward as that. So I've pushed the toilet and the system back into position now. Owl brackets are in. I thought I'd push it in just to gauge that I've got the flexi in the right position and it's going to connect up. Now everything went in perfectly, so I don't want to take it back out to show you what you already know with bolting the owl brackets down and putting the flexi on. So I'm going to leave that into position there. Just put a little offset bend on the pipe there, because we're going to come into that isolation valve there, obviously nut olive, bit of paste on it, and then it's going to always a bloody phone. Then with a little offset up, so it's just taking it over that saw pipe. Then we'll connect the flexi into the end there and get it connected up. So that's it. The toilet is in, it's connected up. We've got it on the flexi there, we've got it on the isolator there. So what I'm going to do is turn it on before I put the bolts into the pan and the bolts into the cistern, just to check, because it's such a heavy unit, just to check that it's all okay. So let's get that on. So we've got the cistern filling up to its level. It's going to fill to roughly around here with the 6 litres of cistern water that's got to go into it, and then we'll give it a test, but you can clearly see how much higher that pan is off the floor. So it's about 120mm difference, but that'll make a massive difference to the customer. Just being able to get on and off it a lot easier. So we may have to just adjust the top of this siphon when the lid goes on, but for now, just to test it, it's spot on. So we'll let it just switch itself off, like so. Just check around the back, all is well, and then give it a flush to make sure it's not coming out the back, which it's not. Spot on. So now we know that's alright, we can get the 2 fixing points in the bottom, get the 2 fixing points in the back of the cistern, get the seat on, get it cleaned up, and away we go. Well, once we've done that, we've got those dripping taps to sort out. But yeah, let's get the system, let's get the toilet finished off first. There we go, toilet done, in, working, and all set up. I've just had to reset the flush valve just because it was holding a little bit and passing a bit of water into the pan, but that's all done now. So I'll go and pop now, turn the water back off and get these heads off, and get the new cartridge on, because as you can see it's dripping. The customer's already bought the cartridge for the tap, which is handy, so we'll swap both of them over. And then we're just about done here. So we got the water off. I've just popped this head off here just to make sure how they come off, and as I thought, it's just a case of prying them off, little screwdriver, and they just pop straight out. And they just pop straight out. They just lock onto these sort of plastic grommets on the top, which also we've got a new set of them. So water's off. We'll just undo these two out of the body and swap them for the other ones. Little tip for you, if you're ever doing taps, always make sure the plug is down in case you ever drop a little spindle or a screw or anything. You're not going to lose it down there, especially with this one being concealed. It'd be a right nightmare. So make sure the plug's in. So we get the adjustables on there, whip these out and get the new ones in. So we've got the new cold valve in. So again, the hot one, I've already loosened it off, just unscrews out like so. As you can see inside, it's pretty knackered. Where we are around here, the water's not the best. It's kind of eats away at a lot of fittings and stuff, but we've got the replacement one here. So pop it in, tighten it up, and we can get the water back on and give it a test. And then no more dripping water from this tap. As you can see, the original one that we took out has got this black casing for the head to sit on, and the customer had got the new heads as well, the new casings. So we pop that on, put the screw in, get it tightened up, get the water on and make sure it's okay before pushing the heads back into position. So we just get the heads back on now. So with that in the off position, put the little lever vertical. It's just a case of popping it back in. And the same with the hot, with it off, get that vertical. Perfect. Nice little easy jobbing job.